Would you like to just say that again? Sorry, the microphone was on.
Oh, it's Tanya. Hi, everyone.
Hello, thank you again for joining us, and welcome back to Ask Your Councillor. We have been off for a few weeks. Obviously, the councillors are busy. That's what they do. They should be busy. But we are with the Northwell ward, and I'm just going to go around and let you all introduce yourselves. So please start.
Good evening. My name's Rob Roach, elected member for Northwell ward, also portfolio holder for finance.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my name is Babatunde Ajishola, elected for Northwell as well.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Councillor Amy Nichols.
Thank you. So just to check again, it was Rob?
Yeah.
Councillor Rob, Councillor Babatunde, and Councillor Amy.
Yes.
Lovely to meet you all, and thank you for being here. We're just letting our good friend just checking out the camera, making sure that you guys are all on video. Okay. So before we begin, I like to just clarify where the Northwell ward is, because obviously a lot of the Luton wards have changed this year.
Mhm.
So whoever wants to go ahead and just tell us the actual division.
Okay. Well, wards are quite complicated. So Northwell is now consists of Marsh Farm, like what traditionally is Marsh Farm, most of what used to be Limbury, so sort of Marsh Road area, and like the Limbury Meads estate.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, because we do have like Northwell Drive. That's what was going through my head when I thought of that name. And if you don't mind, could you guys give me quick introductions on how long you've been councillors, if you live in the Marsh Farm or Limbury kind of area, or kind of what the significance it kind of has to you? We can start with you, Councillor Rob.
This is my 5th year being elected. 4 years with myself and Amy were both at Limbury before, last 4 years. I did live in the Limbury ward, but because of the boundary changes, I moved out of it.
Okay. But you didn't really move out.
Didn't really move out of it.
The ward moved you out.
The ward moved me out. Yeah, so basically I did live in the ward, but I don't now. Yeah.
Okay, and Babatunde?
Yeah, I got elected in May, so just about 6 months into the job. Learning on the job, and of course working on it. So yeah, I live in Leegrave.
Still Luton.
Yeah, just down the road.
And Councillor Amy?
So I got elected in 2018, so just over 5 years ago now. And unfortunately, I no longer live in that area. I grew up in Limbury and a bit of Icknield, but I'm currently living in Luton South.
Okay, thank you so much. But it's good to know that obviously you have some history in that area. You grew up there, and we always say, what better than councillors that have knowledge of the area and some kind of significance to them. So what we want to talk about today is some of the highlights that you guys want to speak about, some of the challenges that you do face in your ward, things that you would like to be changing or maybe have already implemented and it's in the works. And then we have some questions that Tanya will be presenting to you all. And then lastly, the surgery / opening hours that people can find you and speak to you. Okay, so we'll start off with the highlights maybe of the year so far. And Councillor Rob, please do go ahead.
Highlights of the year. Well, let's think about the highlights of the year. One thing we did manage, we're very proud of, Amy and I in Limbury, was to get a private company to re-tarmac a shopping centre, because there was we had a lot of elderly residents in Limbury Mead who were falling over because of the potholes and the wear and tear of this car park and shopping precinct, and we managed to get a private company. We've not the council. The council would have been easier, but a private company to pay up and actually get it resurfaced so people were safe.
Wow, that is really wonderful. Yeah. And it's good to know that although, like you said, it wasn't the council, it's still the councillors who were able to help in that situation. Yeah.
And that was through COVID as well. We managed to get that done with the liaison just before COVID. We kept it going through COVID, working with the agencies, and got it done. And a lot of people, everybody in that area was really pleased.
Well, from all the councillors we do talk to, it's roads are one of the biggest issues, and that's just everywhere. Potholes and wear and tear, like you said, because that affects travel, doesn't it, and just daily life. So that's really good to know. Councillor Babatunde, I mean, you are elected May, you did mention. So what kind of things, maybe if there were highlights or things that this is something that I am passionate about, or I have been asked, by the people to make this change and I'm going to implement it. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Oh yeah, well, you mentioned highlights earlier. Probably winning the election was one of the highlights.
That's a good highlight.
Yeah, exactly. Having the trust of the people. So yeah, so far so good. I've experienced councillors as well, working with them. So they've made me settle down as quickly as possible, and I've been interacting with the public, especially Northwell residents. And so many things comes to mind now. But yeah, in the last 6 months, there's been emails, people reaching out to us, and of course, helping out to settle issues between neighbors. So a very good example comes to mind when somebody called and next door neighbor were having issues, and they called me. Okay, no, that's not a problem. I was free. I went there straight away. They were surprised. I'm like, oh, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And then, okay, this is the issue. This is the issue. Okay, you know what? We'll help you sort it out. I'll push things forward to the council officers and get their perspective on things. And so it's similar issues like that which have been.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I think when the residents can see that direct
Exactly.
and really fast action,
response.
fast response,
Yeah.
it just gives them a sense of trust in the councillors.
Trust is the right word. Yeah.
Exactly.
trust.
So thank you for that. And with Councillor Amy, I'm going to let Presenter Tanya just ask you one of the questions. You do have some for.
Yeah, so I had a resident actually, she reached out to us. She actually lives in Marsh Farm.
Lovely.
And I'm looking at my phone because I've got the questions on my phone.
It's fine, continue.
There we go. Okay, so she has asked, Marsh, I'm just reading it as she said it.
That's
Marsh Farm hasn't actually got a community centre. It has Features House.
Mm-hmm.
However, there isn't a community centre / youth club as such where the youth can go. Not as in, I know Fun Factory's there, but that's more the younger, I'd say the younger youth.
So that's one of her issues that she wants to speak.
One
I'll let
question.
Councillor Amy.
Yeah, I'll go through the questions as we.
Okay. So
Is that
you
something
said-
you guys have been maybe
Well,
speaking about?
obviously, Marsh Farm, Futures House, is a community centre. Rob and myself do sit on the board of that, so we can absolutely take any queries around how we make that more accessible to our community, what people would like to see. They do run a number of youth activities from there, but if we want to see this, say it's a specific time, whether it's certain groups, whether it's certain activities, that's something we can certainly raise with them. That building is supposed to be a community centre and work for our communities. So that's something we can certainly, as representatives on that, drive forward.
Yeah. So you have youth sessions, you were saying that you have.
There are a
activities.
number of youth clubs that do operate out of Marsh Farm Futures House.
Okay.
There are a number of. I couldn't name them off the top of my head.
No, that's fine.
The issue does seem to be around communication, though.
Yes.
Communicating it out to the residents, and
Yeah.
that seems to be the main issue.
Yeah, getting it out there because
Yeah.
if she's a resident and she doesn't,
Yeah.
and she's aware that there are youth sessions there.
Yeah.
You know, I think
We
getting
sit
it
on
out there.
we sit on the board of Futures, and we have influence there, and the board do want to make sure that communication is done correctly, and, and people are more involved, the community is more involved with Futures House.
Yeah.
And that they are fully representing and working for the community in any way they can, really.
Yeah. Okay. Another question she had.
This is for all councillors.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at you because you're sitting in front of me.
That's fine.
She said the greenery space. There is a lot of newly builds being built on the greenery space that's left. And she said when she was younger, they had that space to play.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of houses being built on it. So I think that for her was an issue.
Yeah,
Where do the youth go? The fields are having newly built.
I think the person probably talking about Freeman's Park, I guess.
I
I can't remember
Freeman's Green,
Freeman's Green, how many houses have been built now. I think it's about 12, 13, something
I
along
think
those.
obviously you have houses. That's great. You're housing
Yeah,
people and stuff.
that's the major issue. We do have a big housing issue
Yeah,
Mhm.
of course.
in Luton, and we need to build. We're not in favour of building on open green space.
Yeah,
However, if you look at Freeman's Green, in relation to what the planning says, national planning says you're able to do, is you're able to build houses on some open spaces as long as you leave enough or build what was there in another place. Okay,
right.
so if you look
okay.
at where those houses are, there is enough open green space around it.
Around it.
Anyway, it was something we didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so I get we actually would fought hard. We don't fought hard, but it's something we really discussed this at policy.
Yeah.
But housing need in Luton is great,
Yeah.
but
no,
there's not a policy to build on open green space
Yeah.
No,
from
we
the
do
council.
try to avoid it in
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
As much as
circumstances.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
right.
you. I'm just going to go back to Councillor Amy because I realised I didn't get to ask you your highlights. So yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. My highlight for this year so far. My highlight for 2023 so far.
Council
has to-
related. Yeah.
It links in. It
Premier
links
League.
in.
Yes.
That's what I was going to go for.
I was waiting for someone to
Do you know what?
say
It's
that.
the
Luton Town being
Brilliant.
promoted to the Premier League, which does relate to the council because it does help increase the economic prospects of our town, of our people, and help us hopefully generate some more income into
Yeah,
our
business,
town,
yeah, definitely.
some like inward investment, which is hopefully going to help the prosperity of everyone in
We
our town.
hope so.
Yeah.
So back to all the councillors again. Thank you for answering the questions that
Yeah,
came from the
thank you.
resident as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if the residents are listening now, if you do have any questions, please do ask. That's
Yeah.
what this show is for.
Mhm.
Ask your councillor. But I do want to speak about, obviously, you do talk to them. So if you could tell me a little bit about how they contact you, how you are, in the community with them, if that's going for a walk or your surgery, but also what are some of the main topics that have come to you and how are you going to make this better for the residents of Northwell? So yeah, any councillors, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll say firstly, we are multidimensional. We could be contacted so many ways, via emails, via phone calls, text messages, and of course, writing directly to us as well through the council. And we do surgery, definitely. Yeah, we do surgeries every now and then, every Saturday morning between 10 and 12 p.m. And we rotate these surgeries around Northwell. So there's one at Marsh Farm Futures House, there's one at Ambleside Community Center, and there's one at the church,
St. Augustine's
St.
Church.
Augustine's Church. And yeah, I'm sure.
So this is every Saturday of
Every
the month?
Saturday, 10 to 12 in the morning. Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do surgeries. Yeah.
Where can people find the information as to where it's being held?
We do put them up in public buildings.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, Futures House have got them up, but we do put them up in libraries. We do put them up in leisure centres.
Mhm.
Anywhere we're allowed to put posters up, we put them up, and we are delivering them through letterboxes as we
Wow,
as
that's
we
really
speak
good.
as well.
We've done
good.
most of the Northwell wards,
Yeah.
so most people living there should have received a
Yeah.
flyer with our contact
I'm sure if
details.
they go to these places and just ask when
Mm.
is the
Yeah.
next one, St. Augustine's Church,
Yeah.
Marsh Farm Futures House, and what was the last one, sorry?
Ambleside.
Ambleside Community Center.
Okay, so if you go to any of those places and just
Yeah.
ask them, they'll be able to tell you when the next
Yeah.
surgery is. So yeah, any Councillor Rob, is there any outstanding pressing issues that you think the residents have come with you and you think that is a change that you guys may be
It's-
able to implement in the next year or so?
Yeah, the ward that we have is completely different in its makeup.
Mm.
Basically, so we split it up 3 ways.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, because if you look at the Ambleside Willow Way area, which is off Marsh Road and Mount Pleasant, that is completely different to what Limbury Mead, which is a house, nice house estate in the middle of Limbury there has, which is completely different to Marsh Farm.
Yeah.
So they all have their different issues. Marsh Farm is mainly housing issues,
Okay.
I would say. Limbury Mead tends to be more things we do reactive.
Mm.
Somebody might just ring up and say, "Oh, my bin didn't get emptied today."
Right.
Or
Okay,
a lot of
yeah.
speeding
Speeding,
road
that sort of thing.
conditions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Highways, with road resurfacing, and Ambleside and Willow Way is more, I think it's civic pride, really, isn't it?
And a bit of antisocial behaviour.
Bit of antisocial behaviour. So they all have their different different, you know, so we can't
Yeah.
treat them all as just one wall. We have to separate, split it up, and just say, right, this is the issues, and we split up to 3 segments.
It's a very
really.
big ward, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I still quite haven't got my head around
Yeah, you've got
it.
Limbury, Mead, Marsh Farm, Marsh Road.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
Birmingham
Very
Road,
big,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
it's
terms
Birmingham
of
Road,
yeah.
yeah.
in terms of geographically and number of households, it's one of the 2 biggest in town, really.
Wow.
So, do you have any more questions from the residents?
Let's have a look. Let's see. I've got 2 questions here. I'll read it as they've put it. There's no local shops that are open past 9 p.m. for when they need to do a quick grocery shop.
What does that mean? Oh, like
past 9.
convenience store?
Convenience
Or...
stores, you know, like when you get maybe a 24-hour or I don't know till midnight.
Okay.
So obviously that's down to businesses, however long they want to.
Mhm.
But I'm just reading the questions, and there's one more she's put. Need more businesses around the area, more shops, because I know you've got the opposite Fun Factory features as you've got the parade of shops there,
Shops.
B&M, Nisa Local, and I think that's about it. But you've got a very big. I'm just talking Marsh Farm here because this
Yeah.
resident's from Marsh Farm,
Okay.
so like the other side of Marsh Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they don't drive or anything, getting to the shops, I can imagine it being a bit of a trek. But again, that's down to businesses and.
Well, it's down to the environment to create businesses to come
Oh,
in as
cool,
well,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
really, you know, in all fairness. And I guess shops will open, and if the need is there from a business point of view, they'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, if the need is not there, they probably wouldn't do it because they've got to pay for the lighting and everything and the staff to be there. So
Yeah.
I guess that's a business decision. I would
Yeah.
have thought, in all fairness, is in relation to businesses. I know Futures and we are coming up with and the council in line with Futures are coming up with a skills enterprise couple of days in Marsh Farm as well for
Okay.
young people to
That's
come
really
in.
good.
Yeah,
That is really
so
good.
that we'll be advertising that shortly. We don't know the
Mhm.
dates yet, but that's going to be coming up in early next year.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
So it's for young people to develop their skills?
Yeah, and also jobs.
Yeah.
So there'll be companies coming in as well. You know,
that's wicked.
you know, for jobs. You know, as well.
Yeah.
You know, they did one with Lidl's there, didn't they? Futures
Mhm.
House, which was very successful.
That's
little while
really
ago,
good to
yeah.
hear. So it can kind of mentor the young people, or
Train them.
Yeah.
is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and the council come in with what I call their skills department.
Yeah.
Actually, the guy who runs it's really good. He's really good. He'll come in and he'll try and match skills with jobs
Yeah.
and look at what the lack of skills is, and also say to like, you know, we can develop skills here for you. We do this because, as we say, we own our airport, so we want engineers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
really
there's,
good.
yeah, there's so many other things going on and coming on as well. I think in the next few days, the council as well with the football referee thing as well. We're trying to get more young people active and into football refereeing as well. I'm a football referee, so he helps young ones as well to gain skills, you know, the confidence, to get fit as well, of course, to interact with people.
Yeah,
and,
that'd be
and
really
of course
good.
they could earn extra money doing refereeing
Yeah.
as
That's
well.
always
so
good too.
they're just going to be
How
around.
would you say that for the young people in the ward, you have an active, I don't know, you're actively trying to get them more active?
Exactly, not just for the ward, for the whole of Luton as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, get them more active while earning money. And of
So
course-
because when I spoke to some of the councillors in another ward, they had mentioned some statistics about how there is quite a high rate of obesity
Yes,
with
it is.
children in Luton.
Mhm.
So is that something you guys have looked at as well in your ward?
Yeah, something we've looked at an award, but it's something that we're, as councillors, aware of across the whole town, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's why, as a matter of fact, we're working on some few things because in advertising, I think we're working on to that day, so to reduce the number of adverts concerning some foods that promotes or encourages obesity, sort of. So yeah, trying to limit some few things. So
Mm.
Yeah.
it's really difficult though because
it
you're,
is, yeah.
you're
Yeah.
restricted by planning and licensing laws.
Yeah.
You know, we can do so much. We want to do so much, but we're restricted by the laws. You know that we can and can't do.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
difficult.
what about for the so we've spoken about elderly people, we've spoken about the young
Youth,
people,
yeah.
the middle kind of ground. Do you have anything in place, so for example, to get them walking more or to assist them in any kind of way to give them opportunities in the Northwell area?
I know there's a little gym. What do you call it?
What, the outdoor gym?
Yeah.
Where
That's
is
good.
that?
I like that. It's opposite Beacher's house, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. There is
The outdoor gym
yeah,
bit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I know what you mean. Yeah, we. It's what you can do is just have the facilities.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
really can't just go knock on door people saying come.
Come
but-
out and
Drag them out.
Yeah.
It's having those facilities and getting people the confidence. I don't think COVID helped a lot of people.
No.
I think it's kept them
Knocked
indoors.
them back a bit. hasn't
Yeah,
it?
and I think there's a bit of confidence still with people when they go out. Dark nights don't help,
No.
and cold dark nights like this. But I think it's a case of trying to make sure we have the right facilities
Mhm.
Yeah.
and say, right, come on, this is here, and just get the idea is to get the community running really, and if the community run it, then people will come.
Yeah,
will
exactly,
rather,
yeah.
rather than council and councillors run it.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. I just have a quick question for all of you, which I do usually ask my councillors at the beginning of the show, but it's the end now. We're coming towards the end. We've got about 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
I would just like to ask you guys why you decided to become councillors. If you could go in a nutshell around the room, who would like to start?
Oh, it's really difficult. It really comes down to caring about our community, believing in social justice, and just wanting to represent people and try and get the best for our town. Really.
Okay, Councillor Babatunde. I mean, yours was
Yeah.
very recent as well this year.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So yeah, well, I think one of the motivation was actually to bridge the gap, between should I say the government and the governed. So anyway, just to bridge the gap between the people and those helping out and doing the services for them. So that's one of the key reasons to make sure the people can reach the government at ease, and of course help them, represent them well, and speak for them, and make sure just help the community, as Amy mentioned.
but would you say there was a moment where you thought, actually, I really want to help bridge the gap between the residents and the higher up government and so on? Was there anything that helped you define that moment that made you think, actually, this is it?
I think, yeah, I think I once contacted because I came into the to this country as a student, migrant way back, for my master's degree. And I think one of my representatives then was my local councillor was missing
Okay.
way back, so that was one of the key reasons. Where is the council? Where is the
Yeah.
government here?
Yeah.
So I was looking. So that made me join, look for my local party actually, and that's the journey.
That's really
started,
good
the
to
journey,
hear.
yeah,
You take
yeah.
that action yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
That's really good to hear. Councillor Rob, I do have about 30 seconds.
Okay.
but
I
do tell
think,
me.
I think representation is important, really important. But I think all three of us are very passionate about trying to get community involvement.
Mm.
We want the community to help us create policies and take control of their environments, really, and help us rather than the council saying this is what we've got to do. We want the community to say this is what we want you to do.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
That was
much.
perfect. And
Yeah.
you've been trained so well because I've still got 10 seconds for the exit.
I've had
Um,
media training.
Just a reminder
Yeah.
for the listeners, the surgery is every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yes.
and it is in various locations, and you can find out more if you contact the councillors or go to the locations. Listen back to the show. Thank you guys so much. Tune in next week.